The small House majority for the GOP is about to have more turmoil. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today it is time that we talk about the current state of affairs in Congress. Because everyone, these next couple of weeks may be chaotic, as Congress, as of now, is trying to prevent a government shutdown, as on September 30th, we will have a shutdown of the government if we do not agree upon some kind of resolution. And well, the GOP has unveiled their first move to prevent the shutdown. And already, there's a lot of question marks about, can this even pass the House? As several Republicans have already said they are a no to the current resolution. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody, let's get into it. And again, this is a developing story as it was just unveiled last night, I believe. So, yeah, things can change in a hurry, but as of now, it's not looking too good for McCarthy. The House this week will look to take up a GOP-crafted continuing resolution to fund the government beyond September 30th. The conference's opening move in Congress's quest to avoid an end-of-the-month shutdown. So September 30th is the key day, as if a resolution isn't passed by then, well, we have a government shutdown. Whoop-dee-doo. And people are going to say, oh, but those government workers, it's like, they're still going to get that money. It's just going to be a bit later, and plus they're going to probably get, like, bonuses on top of it, so it's like, I don't get why people are so worried about a government shutdown. It happens very frequent. I don't get why people are suddenly saying, this is the end of the world. It's like, this happens like every year at this point. A coalition of Republicans announced an internal deal for the stopgap bill Sunday night that would extend the funding deadline by a month, cut all spending except for Department of Defense and Department of Veterans Affairs, enact a large part of the House GOP's marquee border bill, H.R. 2. So there is some, this isn't just like last time where we got nothing. There are some decent parts in this resolution from what we know of. Supposedly, again, that could change, but you do got people like Byron Donalds. They did negotiate this deal. So I think there are some decent parts of this, but a number of conservatives are already voicing opposition to the legislation, setting the scene for another tricky math problem for Speaker McCarthy, as he looks to secure a stronger position in the eventual negotiations with Senate Democrats in the White House over avoiding a shutdown. To be sure, the proposal for a stopgap bill is likely dead on arrival in the Democratic-controlled Senate because of the spending cuts and border provisions included. But the legislation, nonetheless, marks the House GOP's first move in the process to avert a shutdown. So, yeah, the Democrats in the Senate will, as of now, probably vote it down, but this is definitely a situation where Republicans have the power. They should have used it last time in the spring with the budget, but this is a time where, hey, we'll just pass some of the stuff we want, and we'll pass some of the stuff you want. We want some border security. We wanted to fund some of the stuff like the Department of Justice and other related things. In return, you can get something like, I don't know, infrastructure or something. But last time they didn't. They just gave Democrats what they wanted. Word for word. Yeah, there was like some provisions that down the line could be in effect, but there's a possibility those don't even happen, so it's like, what was the point last time? On the Senate side, lawmakers this week will look to move forward on a package of appropriations bills after a GOP senator objected to the bundle last week, mucking up the process, which has largely been bipartisan. I believe that was actually Ron Johnson. He's kind of, I believe it was Johnson, who's just just stopping everything from happening in the Senate, like you should. Because this bipartisan crap, from everything we know about the Senate, you know bipartisan means more money for Ukraine, nothing with the border, nothing for anything. You know, it's like bipartisanship in the Senate's a scam. It never ends in a positive manner. It's not like the bipartisanship in the House, which sometimes is actually good. But in the Senate, it just ends up being more money for Ukraine, more money for Ukraine, nothing about the border, everything the Democrats want. Instead, the House, it's like decent things. Also this week, Attorney General Merrick Garland will face some of his fiercest GOP opponents when he testifies before the House Judiciary Committee on Wednesday, 1 week after Hunter Biden was prosecuted and months after McCarthy floated an impeachment inquiry involving the top official. House GOP leadership is eyeing to vote this week on a continuing resolution to keep the government open past September 30th. Two factions of the GOP House Conference, the Conservative Freedom Caucus and the Pragmatic Conservative Main Street Caucus, announced a deal on a continuing resolution on Sunday night. The stopgap bill would fund the government through October 31st, keep the Department of Defense and the Department of Veterans Affairs at current levels, and cut all discretionary spending by 8%. It also includes the House GOP's border bill, dubbed H.R. 2, without its provisional E-Verify. So that's the catch. There is good stuff related to spending cuts and, keeping stuff like the Department of Defense funded fully, and it kicks the can down a month. But this is the big stink. H.R. 2, it's overall a very solid bill, but its main provision, E-Verify, it's not in it. Well, that's kind of a bummer. Let's be real about this. We should be having E-Verify pass. This should be bipartisan. Most states have or a lot of states at least, have E-Verify. It's not some controversial thing. It's like, if you're against E-Verify, what's your motive? The agreement is also to pass legislation to fund the Pentagon, which GOP leaders had to punt on last week after conservatives planned to block consideration of the measure over demands for deeper spending cuts. It does not, however, include any funding for Ukraine or disaster relief funds, which the White House has requested as part of a supplemental with the idea of attaching it to a continuing resolution. So like I said, there are some positive things here. No money for Ukraine, some spending cuts, and most of H.R. 2 in it. However, I can see why people like even Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're not happy about this. Because when you just look at it, it just seems like this is a watered down, very generic, very bland bill that when you probably dig deeper, probably has provisions where, it lasts 5 seconds and the spending goes back to normal. It's like, it's definitely a very iffy topic by the House GOP, but I don't think it's as bad as some people were making it sound like, because you did get people like Donald's supporting it. But I don't think it does do enough to appease people like the House Freedom Caucus, for the simple fact that, hey, a lot of this stuff, it's a good start, but it's just watered down and not what we wanted. Again, I don't get why we couldn't work with some Democrats to say, okay, you could get something like infrastructure and we get like E-Verify or something that benefits the average American. Instead, it's like, you keep some of the stuff that we wanted, but really when you look at it, just half of what we wanted originally, and that's half of what we wanted earlier. So it's really just a question mark about, can this pass? You already got like 15 Republicans saying no, which I would agree with, because I have some serious questions, because this is what we know of. What's on page 250? just an example, it's like, there must be some other thing they're not mentioning that's in this bill that is not making the House Freedom Caucus happy, because at face value, it doesn't seem bad. It just seems like, yeah, a month worth of a victory for spending at least, but nothing else. There's got to be something in this bill that makes some of the House Freedom Caucus just very wary of this. But who knows? This is a developing thing, and it could change tomorrow. Maybe they do include the E-Verify. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.